morning, everybody. Crafting Journey here. That Journey Chick on Instagram. I went live on Instagram last night. Check that out. Kat's little show is going on back here. I am actually going to start a separate channel that just includes the cats. Yeah. Like I don't have enough to do, right? All right. Got my coffee. Yes. Mornings are not magical. And yes, Crystal, this is a Disney cup with Tinkerbell, who's not so happy in the morning. All right, let's start our day. Let's start the day. Okay, planners. Let's go to the planner really quickly. For those of you who don't know, I'm using the dashboard planner. It's a happy planner and it's a dashboard planner. So today is Tuesday. I'm just going to write real quick what national day it is and what's this day in history. Except I can't spell. What was the national day? What was it? I know. And many of you know I vowed I would exercise yesterday. I did not. All right. And I have excuses. Of course, I have excuses. So, no exercise clothes. I don't have any exercise clothes. I really don't. My shoulders have gotten a little larger, and with COVID and everything. So my sister's like, you can borrow my bathing suit, which is one that I gave her a few years back, which is good. And I don't know what the barrier is to me going to that gym. I don't know what it is. I don't care who sees me. It's not that. I don't know. It's just like getting in the car, driving there. Once I do it, I'll be fine. And I'll want to do it over and over again. But it's like just doing it. I don't know. So what I did, so someone suggested, is there something else you could do? So yes, I got up this morning, put on a pair of comfortable shoes, this dress, and at 6 o'clock this morning, it was still dark, but it was, I'm not going to say it was cool, but it wasn't hot outside. Very, very humid. Tootsie and I walked for 30 minutes. She was thrilled, absolutely thrilled. So we're going to say, walk 30 minutes. So at some point this week, I will get to that gym. I'm going to borrow my sister's bathing suit. I'm going to get into the pool. They have an indoor pool. And I'm going to do some laps. I woke up this morning and my body is just aching all over. I'm like, and all I can think of is like COVID. I'm like, no, you don't have COVID, for God's sakes. I am vaccinated. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. And how am I doing on my no spending? Very good. Nothing. I haven't bought anything craft related in one day. We're checking off Monday. Monday, I did not buy anything craft related. Can you believe it? What did I do? I went live on Instagram yesterday. Live on Instagram. Talked about the Monster Mash. Had Life with Lindsay on. Check that out. What else? Just my show. Okay. I've got some unboxings coming. There, some canvases are on their way, including monster mats, which should be here tomorrow. Yay! Okay. That's enough planning for the future. All right. So last night I tried. Yesterday during the day, I tried to get most of this done. I just have like this little area here. And then what I'll have left is these bottom sections. Yeah. I am going to get this thing done. Yes. It's going to get done. Yes, it is. Eventually, right? Right, right. Okay. So I need to find some drills. Where's my other container of drills? I seem to have, oh, here they are. Right beside me. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Okay. There's the one that I want. Good. We're going to put it in a light tray from Wilson's 3D Designs. Love these trays. I need to get another color, but I'm on a no buy. I did put a couple of things in my cart on Amazon. I can't tell you what it is because it's a surprise. It's not really craft related, but it's something involving the channel. So I'm not gonna say. Yep. All right, we got this color. This is a pretty color. 807. All right. So I hope you guys are having a good morning. If you are new to the channel, thank you for subscribing. Everyone else, including new subscribers, please do not forget to give me a like. The like button is right down there. Hit the like button, take it out to Cracker Barrel, but don't let it go shopping because it's on a no buy with me. So there, and ring the notification bell when you want to know if I have another video uploaded, which, you know, I do all the time. Okay. So yesterday I was working on my crochet. I was working on a hat. Today's Tuesday. I'm trying to think what's coming up today. Oh, there's, I think my friend Crystal's Crafty Creations is having a Zoom tonight, which I might pop into a little bit. I'm still, you know, I'm having a little angst because, you know, I'm not able to bring you guys a live trial. The only one going on is that Durst trial, and that is not at all interesting, I don't find, anyway. And I could cover it, but it's been going on for months, literally months. So, yeah. But you never know what day they're going to start a trial on the networks, the network that I cover. But I still have a crime story for you. Post-trial, you know, what happened to this person post-trial. What else? So this morning on my walk, I saw, it was good because one of my hesitations with walking the dog is that she oftentimes, I hesitate to take her out because she doesn't mind me, you know, and if she sees another dog, she like loses her mind. So there was no one out there this morning. Some school children, school buses, but otherwise it was just me and her. So it was really nice, but she had to stop at every tree, every fire hydrant. Yes, we had plenty of stops along the way. But oh my God, is it humid? I am so done with this hot weather. I'm ready to open up the house, do some cleaning, get some fresh air in here. Oh, my neck is really hurt. Let's do some stretches, okay? Let's do some stretches. Come on, guys. All right, ready? We're gonna turn our neck this way. We're gonna bend. Okay, then we're gonna turn our neck this way and bend. Ooh, I need a massage. Come on, stretch. Oh, give ourselves a hug. Okay, let's start the show. All right, I didn't purchase this week. This was a previous purchase from AliExpress. So AliExpress sent it to the wrong address, my old address, and of course they didn't forward it to me. But I was really lucky. The current resident, she looked me up on Facebook, found me, and said, you know, I've got a package for you. Were you expecting anything? And I'm like, yeah. So she left it in her mailbox. She has one of those like mailboxes because I used to live there. And the post office doesn't use that mailbox because they like those big boxes with all everybody's mail in it. So nobody uses the mailbox that's in front of the house. So I went over and I got it. because it's only a couple miles from here. So I believe with shipping, this was about $9. It is gridded 14 count Aida fabric. Now it is just stiff as can be. So I'm not liking that about it. It's pretty stiff, but it's quite a lot. it's maybe like a yard, you know, a couple of fat quarters there. But I think what I'm going to do is some of the Christmas ornaments on here. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because this kind of nice stiff fabric, I can, you know, I can cut it out with the ornament, you know, with the cross stitch done, and maybe put them onto an ornament, or, you know, I don't know. I've not done that before, but yeah. And it almost looks like the lines were not drawn. It looks like there's thread in here instead. It is thread, which I thought it dissolved in water, but there's thread in here. So do I have to pull that out? I don't know. This is kind of weird. So I don't know about this. I really don't. Because the last time I got gridded fabric, I ordered it on Etsy, and it's actually the kind that will, once you're done, you can wash it and that the lines will disappear. But this, yeah, weird. If you know anything more about this and you can help me out, yeah, let me know. Otherwise, I may have wasted $9. So don't waste your money on AliExpress. I should know this by now. Stop spending money on AliExpress, because you're always disappointed. Almost always, unless it's like the Ever Moment store. But then I don't want any more double-sided adhesive, so I'm not going to Ever Moment store. Hello, kitty kitties. Hello, here's my baby. Hello, good morning. What's up? What's up? What are you up to? He loves to look for like flies and mosquitoes. Hi. Where's Pearl? Say, what you doing here, Mom? It looks interesting. You want to help? Your little heart is racing. Yes, it is. Okay, go play. This is not a good place for you. Go play. Go on, go play with your toys. She's like, oh, fine. No diamond painting for me. All right, it is National Waffle Day. Yes, what do we know about... Oh, God. So again, I did it again. Yesterday, my sister calls me into her room and she's like, look at your video. She put it on the TV. First of all, I hate when people put my video on the TV because it's just like, I'm like in this big, you know. Well, I had adjusted the color yesterday. I had done the computer, I adjusted the color, and everything turned out like really blue. There was lots of blue. And she said, there's this line in the middle. And I'm like, she's like, you've got to go back to the iPad. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go back to the iPad. Because frankly, it was easier to get it up to YouTube than it was from my editing program. But I am going to use the editing program for other stuff. Hi. And I'm going to use the computer for my lives. I have to. Hi. You just don't know what to do yourself with it. We got to go find Pearl. Go find Pearl. Okay? Oh my God. He's wide awake. 4 a.m. today. 4 a.m. Now, it wasn't their fault this morning. It was my fault. So anyway, where was I going with the iPad story? Anyway, there's my notes on the iPad about the waffle and who invented the waffle maker. This is actually the reason we celebrate it today, August 24th, is because back in the 1800s, on August 24th, the waffle maker was invented. So there's different kinds of waffles. There's the Belgian waffle and there's the American waffle. What's the difference? Do you know the difference? I do. The Belgian waffle has like deeper grooves to it. And did you know that there is a difference between waffle dough, waffle mix, and pancake mix? Waffle mix is higher in fat and sugar. That's what makes it crispy when you cook it. Now I have this waffle maker. I just love it. You know, you put the batter in and you close it and you wait till the green light comes on and then you turn it. Do you ever go to one of those hotels, like, I don't know, like Comfort Inn, one of those places that have the breakfast, free breakfast, and you get one of those little cups with the waffle mix in it and you pour it? Those are so good. One time at band camp, no, where did that come from? Do you remember that movie? Oh God, the flute player. I went skiing out in, where were we? Lake Tahoe. And the hotel that we stayed in had the most amazing strawberry waffles. Oh my God. What waffles with, they were regular Belgian waffles with fresh strawberries and whipped cream. And I think I ate that every morning. It was so good. Now, I don't like a lot of syrup on my waffles. I just like butter and fruit and whipped cream. Yeah, that's bad enough. We don't need any syrup. We don't need to add any syrup. Oh my. Oh my. All right. Judge, jury, and journey. Okay. As I said before, no trial. But I have another story for you. This is the story of Clarence Elkins. Oh my God, super interesting story. Very sad story, but interesting. So this little girl, she's 6 years old. She goes to a birthday party. She goes to her cousin's birthday party. And she didn't want to go home. She wanted to spend the night with Grandma. She's like, Grandma, can I spend the night with you? And Grandma's like, yes. So they had this really nice evening. They're watching TV. Grandma puts her in her jammies, tucks her into bed, and she goes to sleep. Well, she wakes up in the middle of the night, and there's this horrendous noise. And so she opens the bedroom door, and she sees this man standing over her grandmother. And she's so frightened, she goes back in their room, gets into the bed, hides underneath the covers. Well, the man follows her into the bedroom and hits her over the head with this blunt object. So she passes out. Now, when she wakes up, a few hours later, she regains consciousness. She's naked in the bed, so she puts on some pajamas. She goes out into the living room. She sees her grandmother. She sees that Grandma's really badly injured, that, you know, there's blood coming out of her mouth, and she's shaking her, and she's like, Grandma, Grandma, please wake up. Please, Grandma, please wake up. Grandma's not waking up. So she passes out again. So then when she wakes up this time, the next time, it's morning time. The sun is out. The sun has risen. Still can't wake up Grandma. She gets on the phone and she doesn't think to call the police. She calls her best friend. And nobody answers. So she leaves a message on the answering machine, which was played at the trial. And she says on this message, I need help. I'm at Grandma's house. Someone killed Grandma. Can someone please come help me? I'm all by myself. I'm all by myself. It was the saddest phone call you've ever heard on this answering machine. So she doesn't know what else to do. So she puts on Grandma's robe, pink robe, and she runs several houses down to where she has some friends that she plays with often. And she bangs on the door, and finally it takes them a little while because it's early morning. And the woman that lives there, she's in bed, she's sleeping, she's dreaming, and she's like, oh, is that somebody banging on the door? You know how like you hear it in your dream, but you're not sure that it's real? So finally it gets her attention. She gets up, she goes to the door. There's this little girl. She's covered in blood. She's wearing Grandma's robe. And she's like, help me, something's wrong with grandma. So the woman says, okay, I'm going to drive you home. So she drives her to her parents' house. And instead of going to grandma's house, she takes her to her parents' house. Now her mom and dad are there, and she tells her mom and dad, somebody killed grandma, and I think, and the guy looked just like Uncle Clarence. And they're like, Uncle Clarence. So the father, he gets in his car, but this is really the mother's mother. But the father, this is his mother-in-law. But she's consoling her daughter, so he gets in the car and goes to grandma's house. Well, grandma has been bludgeoned to death with a blunt object. He calls the police. When he calls the police, he says, I think she's been stabbed to death. Well, she hadn't been stabbed. She had just been beaten to death. And later on, we find out also raped. So sad. So they take the little girl to the hospital to get her checked out to make sure she's okay, because she's got like this horrendous wound on her face, like a bruise on her face. So they check her out, and she had been raped as well, sexually assaulted. Oh, Pearl's in here. Hi, Pearl. Anyway, so the police are, they come and they talk to the little girl, and she tells them, oh, the man, I saw the man and he looked like Uncle Clarence. So they go over and they descend on Uncle Clarence. So Uncle Clarence's wife was another daughter of this woman who was deceased now. And they tackle him to the ground, and they arrest him, and they take him down to the police station, and they're interrogating him, and his alibi checked out. He had been at his bar, he had a couple of beers, heads home about 2 o'clock. He finds his wife on the couch with their son. Their son's not feeling well. He's running a temperature. So she's kind of consoling her son, watching television. So he goes into his bedroom and goes to sleep. So they surmise that between 2:30 a.m. and the next morning, that was his window of opportunity to actually crawl out of a bedroom window, go commit this horrendous crime, come back through a bedroom window, and his wife would never know. Oh, okay. They had 2 young boys at the time, 10 or 12 years old. Anyhow, he's arrested. He hires a lawyer. Everybody's just distraught because now Uncle Clarence is in jail for this horrendous crime. So the trial happens, and they put this little girl, something that would never happen today. They put this little 6-year-old on the stand. This is in 1988. It's in Barberton, Ohio. This is like this small town it's an old industrial town that's kind of trying to reinvent itself. It's seen better days, but it's there, and not a lot of crime happens there. So they have this trial. They put the 6-year-old on the stand, and they're like, who did this horrendous thing to you? Now, she has no memory of the rape, none whatsoever. Thank God, because how horrible is that? So they're like, who did this to you? And she points out, oh, Uncle Clarence did this to me. So Uncle Clarence is convicted. Well, and they were going for aggravated murder. They were going for the death penalty, the prosecutor. So they come back, the jury comes back, and the judge is reading the verdict, and he reads the, aggravated murder, not guilty. So the courtroom erupts. Oh, he's not guilty. The judge is like, no, hold on. I'm not done. And then he proceeds to read the rest of the verdict form, which is guilty of murder, guilty of burglary, which means he entered the dwelling, and guilty of the assault on the little girl. So he's sent away to this prison for sexual offenders. So horrible. So the wife, she's distraught. You know, she knows her husband didn't do this. You know, he had no beef with her mother. There was no reason why he would go over and commit this horrendous crime against her mother. So she decides she's going to investigate this crime, because the cops are not going to help her. They've solved the crime and they're not going to help her. So she starts hanging out in bars, and, you know, anybody she thinks, you know, in this town could possibly be, you know, a murderer. She's like collecting beer bottles for future DNA analysis. So she finally enlists the help of the Ohio Innocence Project, and they take a look at the court file. And lo and behold, don't you know, the police did not complete a thorough investigation. They had samples of the offender's DNA from the little girl and from the grandmother. They had blood that was on the scene that did not match the little girl or the grandmother, so it was obviously the offender's blood. They never ran the DNA to see if it was his or not, you know, Uncle Clarence's DNA. So the Innocent Project says, okay, yes, we'll you know, we've looked at the file, we'll take your case. So they have the DNA tested, and lo and behold, it isn't Clarence's DNA. It comes back to somebody else. So they take this to this judge, and the judge says, I don't care. He was found guilty of assaulting a 6-year-old. I'm not letting him out of prison. She refused to let him out of prison. So, wow. So meanwhile, the wife, she's scouring the paper every day, trying to see if there's any evidence of like someone that committed a similar crime. So one day she's looking at the paper, and lo and behold, there's this guy who's been arrested, same town, he's been arrested for sexually assaulting 3 minor children. Well, that's not what's the most interesting detail about this particular case. Not only is he been convicted of assaulting these 3 minor children, his common law wife was the woman that answered the door when the little girl ran from the crime scene to her friend's house. Those 3 little girls were her friends. And this woman that opened the door was the wife of this guy who later on gets convicted of raping those 3 little girls. So what they surmise is that she's panicked now. She can see this little girl. She's kind of thinking, oh my God, what has he done? So she gets that little girl home, and is probably trying to cover up. And the cops theorize that she put this idea in the little girl's head that it was her Uncle Clarence. Could it have been your Uncle Clarence? I don't know. And then the woman immediately sends her 3 girls, her 3 daughters, to live somewhere else. So then the wife of Clarence's wife, she goes through the jail records, and she finds out that this guy is being housed in the exact same prison as her husband. And that not only that, but on the exact same unit as her husband. So she decides she's going to write this guy letters. So she pretends to be somebody else, and she's writing him love letters. She's like, you know, I like to write men in prison, and she signs it with like this lipstick kiss. So she's hoping that like maybe he'll kiss it back, maybe he'll touch the letter and she'll get DNA, or, you know, he'll write back and she'll get DNA off the letter that he's written. Well, he doesn't take the bait. He doesn't write her back. So meanwhile, Clarence is watching this guy in prison, and they start chit-chatting, and he noticed that this guy is really violent. He's a very violent person, and he's like scared of this guy. In fact, he was sitting there talking one day to another inmate, and that guy comes up with like a pillowcase with a lock in it and just wallops this other guy right in the head. I don't know if he killed him or what, but so Clarence was scared of this guy. But one day he comes behind him. He had just smoked a cigarette. So the guy puts the cigarette out in an ashtray and walks away. So Clarence takes tissue paper and he goes over and he picks up the cigarette butt, puts it in his pocket, goes back to his cell, mails it to his attorney. They test the DNA, and what do you think? Yep, he was the offender. He's the one that committed the crime against Grandma and the 6-year-old. So they bring this to the prosecutor's attention, and the prosecution, the state attorney, refuses to let Clarence out of jail. They're like, nope, he was convicted. These prosecutors are so dead set on like going with their conviction that they can't see reason. So the attorney general for the state of Ohio gets the case, he gets a hold of the case, and he's like, no, we're dropping all these charges. So they drop the charges against this guy, apologize to him. He spent 7 years in prison. The other guy confesses, pleads guilty, and later writes this long description of what he did and why he did it. And yes, and then apparently after the little girl had run to the house where he was living and the wife took her home, he comes home, she comes back home, she confronts him, what did you do, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, and then I think at that point, she actually turned him in for committing the acts against her daughters. So she's not a terrible person, but, I think she was hiding the fact that this other guy probably didn't commit this crime for all those years, which was horrible. And the little girl who's now, a teenager, she later recanted. She said, I don't know if it was Clarence or not. I just said it looked like Clarence. I never said it was Clarence. Well, you kind of pointed at him in the courtroom. But anyway, so Clarence sues the state of Ohio, and he gets $4 million. Yep. Unfortunately, his marriage did not survive all of this. I mean, how could it? My goodness. He has a very good relationship with his 2 grown boys now, and he has remarried and is in a very happy relationship. But, oh, so sad. Very, very sad. And that is another case where DNA exonerated somebody eventually. Can you imagine? Oh, man. All right. That is the case of Clarence Elkins. Uncle Clarence. All right. This day in history, 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius, which is in Italy, erupts. And at the time in Pompeii and the surrounding towns, Herculaneum and some other surrounding towns, is just demolished, like wiped off the map from this volcano. But there was approximately about 40,000 people that lived in that area. And these were very eccentric Romans. They lived in Pompeii, but they would vacation in Herculaneum, and they had villas in these other little towns that they would vacation at. And had no idea about this volcano. You know, the soil was very rich and lush and dark, and everything grew very well. They didn't know it was from volcanic ash. So it's wiped out. Pompeii is gone. So over the years after that, there's been many people that have attempted to excavate Pompeii. And I'll put some pictures. I'll put a picture of Mount Vesuvius erupting, because it has erupted a few times since then, and a picture of what's been excavated left from Pompeii right here. Very interesting. And today, even today, this excavation is still going on, and there's always a chance this thing could explode again at any time. And to top it all off, there's approximately 700,000 people now that live in that area that would be wiped out if this thing ever had that kind of major eruption that it did in 79 AD. And if you didn't die back then from the fire and the lava, you died from the gas. Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. So that is this day in history. I hope you guys had a good day. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to hit the like button and take it out to Cracker Barrel, but don't let it go shopping because it's on a no-buy, just like me. And I will see you guys either in a Zoom or on tomorrow's Crafting in Crime. I love you all. Bye.